March 2nd, Blue Springs City Council meeting. If you will stand with me, I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You can be seated. Next item on the agenda is confirmation of a quorum.
Councilmember Kaler.
Here.
Tholen.
Present.
Brummel.
Present.
Erickson.
Here.
Edmondson.
Here.
Rowan.
Here.
Mayor Lipsey.
Here. Next item is the consent agenda. I request from Councilmember Erickson to pull item D. Do I have a motion to approve the remaining items?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Kaler.
Aye.
Tholen.
Aye.
Brummel.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Edmondson.
Aye.
Rowan.
Aye.
Mayor Lipsey.
Aye. Councilman Erickson, item D.
Your Honor, I would move that we postpone action on this for one meeting, so we have an opportunity to discuss this more thoroughly at a different date.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Erickson to continue item D. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Erickson.
Couple things, that the history of this took me by surprise. I did not know this was going to happen. Or when I say this was going to happen, I did not realize that we were planning to buy our fuel in downtown Blue Springs as opposed to the WIX program or whatever that was called, where we would buy it at non-central locations, because we are, as I understand it, planning to change the structure of the Public Works facility so we will no longer have fuel services there. When we had that proposal and it was presented to us, I don't think it was actually in writing, but it was presented to us that we were going to subcontract or contract the ability to buy fuel in other places besides that central location. I even mentioned that it would be really nice to be on one end of town and be able to go to a local facility, buy the fuel, and go back and finish the snow blowing or the plowing or whatever it may be. Now it's presented that we buy our fuel at a central location. I want to be very clear. I have no objection to buying our fuel from John Moore Oil. I have no objection to that whatsoever. It's the location and the way that it will clutter, in my opinion, the new $5 million street project and the renovation of downtown. Jokingly, I could say our idea is to beautify downtown, not to make it an industrial district. I don't know what the alternatives are from there. The council information sheet we have talks about the extra cost to not do it this way. However, it does not discuss any of the costs to drive back and forth and the savings that we would have on our streets. And we talked about trash trucks on streets, all that kind of stuff. So in summary, I don't think it's right that we bring those heavy vehicles into the downtown area. There's no alternative other than Main Street or 15th Street through residentials. It just doesn't work. So that's my diatribe in many, many words.
Okay, any other discussion on the motion to continue? Councilmember Edmondson.
My understanding, I guess, on this topic is that we try to go out for the best price on fuel, and I refer it back to staff. And if you could give us, there's a reason why we went to this location, and I'm sure it's more of a price point deal, that it may cost more money to the citizens of the town to disperse and go into various convenience stores or whatever to get gas, plus some of the headaches maybe of keeping track of all those bills for our accounting department.
Yes, we did start talking about this process of having to outsource our fuel for our city vehicles about a year ago, as we started planning for the expansion and upgrade of the Public Works location out on Sunnyside School Road. The project, there's not enough space to do the expansion and to reinstall fuel pumps out at this location, and those pumps would cost over $1 million. So it would take us a very long time to get our return on that investment, plus we would have annual maintenance and that type of thing on the pumps. And so we started looking around at options, and we came up with the option to use the WEX card, which Councilmember Erickson is referring to, that we first pursued as our option to get fuel for our vehicles. A card would be assigned to each vehicle, and then they could go to a number of locations within the city and fuel up. And then we would get a billing each month so we could charge it out to the appropriate department. It took us over a year to get to the point where WEX had a contract ready for us because they were on the state bid list and they had not completed their updated bid for this fiscal year. So as we were going through that and going through the downtown streetscape process, we had a meeting with John Moore Oil to talk about their location downtown and their future plans for their property. At that meeting, we let them know that we were looking at changing to a WEX or Quick Trip Fleet card was another option that we looked at for our fuel. At that time, they said, wait, we might be able to have a solution for you where you won't have to still have pump maintenance, still buy your fuel from a local business located in downtown. And so as we looked into that option and honestly, the headaches that we had with the WEX contract, getting it done after it took over a year, and then John Moore Oil coming back and saying we can honor the current prices that we charge you for fuel, we made that recommendation to go with this contract. And that's what's before you tonight. The concern about the number of trucks and stuff downtown, most of our vehicles that we fuel are police cars and trucks and things like that. We do have the dump trucks that are for snow removal, and they would be coming downtown, but we have also discussed routes to avoid being on the main part of Main Street from 7 Highway. We haven't gotten to the point of making that final determination, but we are discussing that.
So Councilmember Erickson, I guess I would ask, based on the information that's in the agenda now, what additional information would you need to continue this rather than just vote on it tonight?
My information, I have the information that I need, except I think for transparency and this, that, and the other, I think the actual costs that we would have increased, whether it's 3% or 1% or 5% or whatever that is, I think should be out there. And if we're going to discuss the ease of going downtown, saving money, I do think that we should talk about how many miles we would anticipate during a snowstorm or a water main break to come from Colburn Road and 7 Highway up to downtown and go back to finish the project. I know right now we're centralized, it would be similar, but also the wear and the tear and the beautification and the enhancement of downtown just doesn't fit with this. It's industrializing a project that we spent many years on, and the difficulty of I'm sorry, I'm pontificating. I think the council should have more information on it. I'd be very happy if we just said, no, we're not gonna do that. However, I asked to table it so we could think about it a little bit longer and have more facts, more figures to make it a better proposal.
Okay, any further discussion?
Your Honor.
Member Brummel.
Yeah, 2 things. One, I like supporting small businesses inside of Blue Springs. So for one, I do support John Moore on this. And then the second one, I mean, we're not talking that many dump trucks. We're not talking that many vehicles. They're already going to come downtown to do the plowing. Your comment on Colburn Road to come back to fuel up. Hopefully they have enough fuel when they go to do a repair that wouldn't be the case. But if it wasn't, they'd still have to go back to Public Works, which is right off 40 Highway. So they're still having to drive most of the way anyway. So I don't see it being a big issue, and I'd be okay with voting tonight on it.
Okay, any further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Kaler.
Well, I'm figuring out number of vehicles. There's more than just a couple or 3 dump trucks. There's a dump truck there with a trailer on it with the tractors that go through. There's also been a consideration, CJC's going down there, so we're also on top of that. You're gonna have fire trucks, and I get where we can't put that fuel out at the Public Works barn, but you know, we also, in the wintertime, you're gonna be snow plowing, and the way they do the snow plow, if needs salt, it just drops off there and it goes in the barn, picks up with a high loader, front loader, I'm sorry, and dumps it into the dump truck to go out and salt. Well, if it's low on fuel, you just can't go right down to the pump. We ended up taking our back downtown where the others would be at least a little quicker to one of the stores. But I would like a little more information exactly how much we are actually saving compared to the extent of employees having to go and travel that distance to do this. And I understand where Mr. Brummel's coming from. I disagree with him, but I understand where he's coming from. It just, it is what it is.
Okay, any other, Councilmember Rowe?
You know, you brought up a good point about filling up with salt and the plow trucks and the trailers and all that. I'm thinking of all the convenience stores we have in Blue Springs and which ones our trucks would even be able to go into. So that's another reason why I think John Moore is the best option, just because of the ease of getting the trucks in and out of their facility.
And again, Councilman Erickson, I don't think that he actually stated anything about the vendor. It's just the location of the vendor. And as far as that goes, I know for a fact that those trucks do fit at I'll use Quick Trip at 40 and 7 Highway. They will fit in there because I've seen it done.
Your Honor,
Councilmember
I would like
Erickson.
to, I was not going to mention the name of the facility just to make it a more of a neutral position, but I did make it very clear, at least I thought I did, that I think I said it in the negative. I have nothing against John Moore. I absolutely agree with you. They've been around here for decades. The more the merrier of years that they're able to be in our community, that's great. It's the location and it's the downtown hub, and we're going to have not that many dump trucks, but one's too many in my opinion.
Any further discussion on the motion? Okay, let's go ahead and roll call this one since it's also a consent item.
Council,
Hold on, let me clarify. This is just on the motion to continue, not on item D. This is the motion to continue.
Councilmember Tholen,
No.
Brummel,
No.
Erickson,
Yes,
Edmondson,
No,
Rowan,
No.
Kaler,
Yes.
Mayor Livesay.
No.
Motion fails.
Okay, so now we're on the original item D. I still need a motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second.
Wait,
All right,
wait,
now's the
wait.
discussion
What was
on,
the motion?
to approve item D.
approve item D as it is stated.
So now we're on just item D. Is there discussion on item D?
Well, before you finished, I was going to make a different motion, but he so moved, so that's fine.
If you have a motion to amend, you can make a motion to do
Well,
that.
I would amend that to not approve it.
Okay, I think the appropriate thing would be to vote in the negative, if that's what you want to do. A motion to not approve something is generally not the way to approach it. Okay, do we have any discussion on item D?
Yes, sir. One more time.
Councilmember Erickson.
When we cut the ribbon for downtown, I just hope we all know what we did on this motion. And I would love it if we could somehow see those trucks in action downtown after we celebrate the new streets, the streetscape, Central Park. I hope you guys understand what you're doing.
Okay, any further discussion on item D?
No.
Okay, let's roll call item D.
Councilmember Brummel,
Aye.
Erickson,
No,
Edmondson,
Aye.
Rowan,
Aye.
Kaler,
No.
Tholen,
Aye.
Mayor Livesay.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is the public hearing on Lux 2. We have a request to continue that to the April 6th city council meeting. I'm first going to open the public hearing. Since the public hearing is open, I want to make sure there's an option for anybody in the audience to speak on Lux 2 rezoning and plan development. Do I have anybody in the audience to speak on the public hearing? Seeing none, do I have anything from the council or a motion to continue that item to April 6th?
Motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue that item to the council meeting on April 6th. This is a voice vote. Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is item 5, the Brookside Estates amended planned unit development. City clerk have items to read for the exhibits.
Mayor, the city has one exhibit to enter into the record. City Council Information Form dated February 24, 2026, with the following attachments. Staff report with attachments, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on February 7, 2026, 185-foot notification map, property owners within 185 feet of the site, copy of letter sent to said property owners, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference, and bill approving the amended planned unit development concept plan for Brookside Estates. This is all we have to enter for the record.
Okay, so we have a bit of a different process this evening. As you may have noticed, we don't have a court reporter. I am now going to swear people in when they're speaking for a public hearing, which does mean I have to swear in staff. So any staff that is going to speak, please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case shall be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, give us your name and information for the record, and then staff continue with your presentation.
Chantel Fry, Planner 3, City of Blue Springs, 903 West Main Street, 64014.
Sounds great.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. This evening, we have a request from applicant Clint Lumaster for an amended PUD concept plan and a preliminary plat for approximately 29 acres, which are located west of 7 Highway, both north and south of Southwest Brookside Drive. This property sits between the planned commercial frontage along 7 Highway and the existing estates at Chapman Farms subdivision, and is currently zoned SF7 PUD RO. This property has a long history with the city. Most recently in 2024, an 80-lot proposal was denied by both Planning Commission and City Council. The proposed minimum livable floor area at this time was 1,100 square feet. Before you this evening is a revised proposal that reduces both lot count and the overall density of the area. The applicant is proposing 75 single-family detached homes with the result of a gross density of approximately 2.56 dwelling units per acre. For context, the SF7 zoning allows up to 5 units per acre, and a previously approved concept plan was originally for 97 units in 2021. So this proposal represents a meaningful reduction in density from what has previously been approved on this site. The planned unit development framework allows flexibility in design while still meeting the intent of the Unified Development Code. In this case, the flexibility is primarily being used to respond to the existing stream buffer that runs east and west through the property. The applicant is requesting frontage width reductions for several lots at the building line, and those adjustments are necessary because of the stream corridor limits the buildable area to the rear. Rather than encroach into the protected buffer, these lots have been adjusted to maintain development while preserving the natural feature. Staff finds that this modification is reasonable and consistent with the proposed of the PUD regulations. Access to this development will be from Southwest Mason School Road and from Southwest Brookside Drive. Both are minor collector streets. Required sidewalks will be installed along the collector streets and along internal streets, A limits of no access will be dedicated along the collector frontage at the final plat to maintain traffic safety. A traffic impact study was not required based on the current volumes and the signalized intersection at Brookside and 7 Highway. In terms of infrastructure, the primary stormwater management plan has been submitted. The development will utilize the existing regional detention basin located to the south and must comply with APWA Section 5600 standards and the MARC BMP requirements. All drainage areas will be contained within the dedicated easements, and the sanitary sewer capacity is available through the sewer NID, and the developer will be responsible for all internal extensions. This proposal provides preservation of the stream corridor and the inclusion of an 8-foot paved trail running through the buffer. That trail will connect to the existing Chapman Farms trail system and enhance pedestrian connectivity along the neighborhood. Landscape buffers are provided along the commercial edges, and street trees will be installed in accordance with city standards. Elevations show predominantly ranch-style homes with craftsman's and farmhouse influence. The applicant is proposing architectural standards that include material variation, decorative garage doors, front porches on at least half of the homes, and masonry returns when the stone is used. Final architectural details will be reviewed with the PUD final plan. And here are some of the elevations. The proposed minimum livable floor area is 1,400 square feet. That remains within one classification step of adjacent developments and is consistent with surrounding residential character. After reviewing the application against the PUD and the preliminary plat criteria, staff finds the proposal meets the standards of the Unified Development Code, is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and does not impede on future infrastructure, and supports orderly residential growth. The reduction in density compared to the previous approval is also a notable change. Staff recommends approval of the amended PUD concept plan and with the conditions outlined in the staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is also here.
Any questions from the council for staff?
Your Honor.
Yeah, Councilmember Erickson.
You mentioned lots 13, 14, 15, 16, 47, 48, 49, and 50 that have reduction in total square footage of the lot. Is that correct?
Is total square footage of it's the width, only the width of the lot.
Okay. And part of the reasoning for that is the geometry of the
Cul-de-sac and the stream buffers.
and the behind it. So in effect, there's more lot that's not theirs, but it's green space behind those.
Yes.
So I guess just for the record, I always oppose going down on lot size, but in this case, I can certainly see the justification for it. Thank you.
Any other questions from the council for staff? Okay, is the applicant present, wants to make a presentation? If you're gonna speak, go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, when you speak, just give your name and address for the record.
Brian Mertz, 7607 Northwest John Andrews Road, Kansas City, Missouri, 64152.
Continue.
I recently purchased this ground third quarter of last year, so I can't speak on what happened before I acquired it, but it does seem like there was some adversarial relationships maybe and some ideas that were brought forward. So those are not mine, so just want to start with that. I also like to thank staff. When I did acquire the ground, I came and talked to the city and I said, why hasn't this worked before? What needs to happen to make this work? So they were very helpful in directing me what they thought would be a valid project for this area. I do think this project is a good buffer from the 7 Highway, possible future commercial ground to the estates at Chapman that are to the west of me. And I did have community engagement with the Chapman Farms Estates HOA on February 17th. The 2 neighbors to the north, I spoke on February 19th and February 23rd, and my neighbor 7 acres to the east on February 23rd. They had their concerns. I hope I addressed them. If not, we'll probably hear from them tonight. And I'm open to any questions.
Any questions for the developer? Okay, thank you for your testimony. So any comments from the council before I go to the audience? If not, I have 2 speaker appearance forms. First one I have is from Brian Mertz. Looks like in support of, so we'll start with that one. Oh, that was you, okay. Got it. You're in support of it, I would hope so. The next, well, is anyone else in support of? In support of. Okay, if you're in support of, go ahead. I'll have to swear you in. Raise your right hand. The testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Give me your name and address for the record, please.
John Easley, 1050 Southwest Conch Circle, Blue Springs, Missouri, 64064. Although it's technically Summit, Missouri, 64064, but we won't fight over it. We're the island of misfit toys. So I'm the president of the HOA, and I've spoken before this body several times. Although the last time I spoke, you guys disagreed with my position. Hopefully at this time you will not. Brian, I'm guessing probably the city recommended he speak to us because we've had several problems with several developers in the years that we've been in HOA. Brian spoke to us, our entire board, and through those discussions, we support in part and disagree in part. The disagreement in part, and that comes between you guys and me. Their trail connects to our trail. I am a retired cop for 30 years. I have a degree in criminal justice. I know case law. I do not know of an ordinance or case law that allows you to authorize somebody else to connect into private property. Maybe I'm wrong, but feel free to educate me because I'm for it. I'm glad to learn. That is the part we do not support because it opens us to liability, because it opens our trail to them to come onto our trail, and if something happens, are we liable? That's my question to you, because you're green lighting it. Now, once we get past that hurdle, we found our conversation with Brian to be very, very cordial. He's an excellent developer. We researched him prior to speaking to him. His work speaks for itself. He seems very open to working with us through the development process. His words to us were very comforting. He builds, from what we've researched, quality homes. So for us, this is what we've always wanted, and hopefully you guys will see that what he's proposing would work. Please, you shot us in the back on the last one where they're putting in, I'll say it, crap homes to the south of us, southwest of us, the 28 homes that you approved. That's a disagreement between us. That's okay. But this is a quality developer with a quality plan. I think it's going to be great. So we support it. I hope you guys support it. The only negative I have about Brian personally is he's a KU grad. That's nothing. I don't think we can fix that. But other than that,
That's a fair concern, sir.
yes, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Mayor. But 100%, the board absolutely supports Brian and what he's doing, and we look forward to working with him. Thank you.
Thank you, John. If anyone else would like to speak in support of, come on up. If you will raise your right hand, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Give us your name and address for the record.
Eric Rhodes, 26003 Southwest Mason School Road. Good evening, council. I want to take my moment to express my sincere support for the proposed development plan. My interest in this development is focused on the historical structure that sits on my property. Developer and I have arrangements to move forward, which ensures the integrity of the barn remains protected and the sounding development proceeds are testament to his willingness to be a good neighbor. I'd like to thank him for being responsive, transparent, and respectful through the process. From my own perspective as an individual, I'm especially grateful for his willingness to work with myself and my wife to ensure that our property rights and unique situation is addressed. Additionally, thanks to the city leaders and council members who helped resolve this issue. Thank you for your hard work in balancing the need for growth with the importance of maintaining our city's character. Your commitment to finding solutions that work for both large-scale progress and individual resident needs is truly appreciated. Finally, I look forward to welcoming new residents to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in support of? Okay, anyone speak in opposition to? Opposition to. Any other comments from the council before I close the public hearing? Okay, we will close the public hearing. Next item on the agenda is introduction to reading of Bill 5384, approving the Brookside Estates amended plan unit development concept plan.
I'll introduce it, Your Honor.
First reading of Bill 5384, an ordinance approving Brookside Estates amended planned unit development concept plan.
Your Honor, I move we approve on the first reading and move to the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Your Honor, I have
Councilmember Erickson.
maybe a question for the staff. Mr. Easley, was it?
Yes, sir.
Mentioned the trails and the connection of the trails. Is there a solution? If
City
they don't
codes.
want the public on their trails, and I'm looking at the map, they all look like they all belong to the homeowners association, but I think it looks like they go out onto the street, if I'm not wrong. They must have some easement to get to the street. Is it common to not allow that, or how could that happen?
So there is a city code that says that we promote and are wanting to do connectivity through subdivisions. That's been the practice of the city for planning. I'd be more than happy to pull that code and send it to you, but usually they're always going to connect, and there's no, because it does, most of the trails, you know, wrap around the open space and then come onto the public sidewalk, which then it is public. Those trails unfortunately are not private property. If we wanted as staff during lunch to walk on the trails, we would have the option to do that. So the connectivity, though, is something we've always done with subdivisions and encourage.
Well, I just carry it a little bit further. I'm 100% in favor of on all the trails we can have, no matter where they are. But the question was, or the statement was, there was some concern about private trails and the connecting. But as I look at the map, those trails are all on the property of the HOA. Do they have a right to stop people from going on those if they wish to do so?
I'm going to have to refer this to Jennifer, our city attorney, because I don't know the liability of that.
And I would also comment too then, just to this board, that if I were living in their subdivision, I would want extra trails to go further. So using the trails of the proposed subdivision to me would be an asset to the existing one. I just wanted to know how that could happen.
You don't have to answer that now, Jennifer. I think that would be good to research, because I have the same question you do. If it's private property, then that's different if it's in public easement. So that's, I think, what we need to find out. If it's public easement, then the public has access to it, so.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Real quick, sir.
Go ahead, John. Tell us what you know. There's not really a position. Just come to the microphones and we can hear you.
And I'm saying, I only asked the question not to be a bad neighbor, but it's just that we're maintaining that it is private property, it's 100%. And the code is only that you promote, doesn't mean you maintain. Now, if the city of Blue Springs wants to maintain our trails 100%, good, open them up. But it is it's private property, and I'm not saying that we're gonna be bad neighbors to Brian, it's just we're worried about liability, and that we just spent $26,000 to maintain. That's the only reason why I say it, sir.
I'll be honest with you, John, to say, when you brought it up in the past, it seemed more like you didn't want people walking on your trails. If liability is a concern, that is something that I think we could figure out and address. But you have public sidewalks that walk through your neighborhood that the public has access to, so I'm not hearing you say it's a matter of keeping people out of your neighborhood. Liability, I think, is a reasonable thing for us to try to determine, so thank you for bringing that up. I think Councilmember Erickson.
Yep, thank you.
All right, any other discussion on first reading of this item? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Second reading.
Second reading of Bill 5384, an ordinance approving Brookside Estates amended planned unit development concept plan.
Your Honor, move to approve the second reading and provide a proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Erickson,
Aye.
Edmondson,
Aye.
Rowan,
Aye.
Kaler,
Aye.
Tholen,
Aye.
Brummel,
Aye.
Mayor Livesay.
Aye.
Motion carries and given ordinance number 5482.
Okay, next item on the agenda is public hearing for Epic Retail General Development Plan. I'm gonna open the public hearing. City clerk, read the exhibits into the record.
Mayor, the city has one exhibit to enter into the record. City Council Information Form dated February 24, 2026 with the following attachments. Staff report with attachments, affidavits of publication in the Examiner on February 7, 2026, 185-foot notification map, names, addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site, copy of letters sent to said property owners, and bill approving the general development plan for Epic Retail. This is all we have to enter for the record.
Okay, staff, if you will be sworn in, please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you are about to give in this case to be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Give us your name and information for the record and continue with your presentation.
Logan Day, city planner, 903 West Main Street, 64015. That's the right one.
That's better.
Good evening, council members. Before you this evening is a request for approval of a general development plan for a retail development located at 2850 Northwest 7 Highway. The subject property is currently vacant and undeveloped land and is also part of the Casey subdivision plat. The applicant proposes construction of approximately 28,200 square feet of retail space along with associated site improvements necessary to support the development. The project will disturb approximately 0.65 acres and is proposed as a single-phase development. The general development plan proposes utilizing the existing access drive from Northwest 7 Highway that currently serves the Casey's gas station located north of the site. In addition, a new access drive is proposed from Hunter's Drive, aligned parallel to the drive across the street to promote safe and efficient traffic flow. A gravity sewer line is also located west of the development along 7 Highway and is available to serve the site. The project complies with the general commercial building standards, including setbacks, height, lot coverage, and other applicable requirements. The site plan includes 117 parking spaces, where 113 spaces are required, exceeding the minimum standard. A 5-foot sidewalk meeting ADA requirements is proposed along both North 7 Highway and Hunter's Drive. And additionally, an internal 5-foot sidewalk is provided around the exterior of the buildings to ensure pedestrian connectivity. The plan is consistent with the comprehensive plan designation for the corridor reinvestment area, and the proposed layout does not impede future construction of public infrastructure and reflects sound planning, engineering, and urban design principles. Based on the analysis provided in the staff report, staff recommends approval of the general development plan with the conditions listed.
So any questions for staff from the council? Councilmember Erickson.
You said 6.5 acres or 0.65?
0.65.
0.65, okay, I heard that correctly. And then how many square feet?
28,200 plus or minus.
28,200 and 113 parking places are required.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the council for staff? Okay, is the applicant present? Want to come make a presentation? Come on up. If you'll raise your right hand, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, please continue. Give us your name and address of the record and then continue.
Hey, my name is William Buck. I work at, excuse me, I live at 6040 Woodside Avenue, Kansas City, Missouri, 64133. And I work for Powell. We are engineering and surveying and architectural firm. We've been working with staff on this proposed retail development. We're not seeking any rezoning or anything like that. We feel we've got a good development for the empty lot. And I'd ask any questions or anything you've got.
Okay, any questions for the developer from the council? Councilmember Erickson.
Quick question, the smaller building, I forget what number it is, the one that backs up to 7 Highway? Do we have a
rendering?
A rendering of what that looks like?
Yeah, elevations are there, I think.
It'll be a blank wall, but with decorative, but.
No,
Oh, on
they
the
won't
backside.
let us do that. I think it's one of the.
It'll be this one.
But you're
And
asking
there will
about the
be-
backside.
Yeah, what the 7 Highway side would look like.
Yeah, this would be, and there'd be landscaping between
Oh, yeah.
the back of that building to 7 Highway as well.
Okay.
So this would be the
Well, the backside would be that third picture down, wouldn't it?
this one right here. The-
Oh, that's 7 Highway facing?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions for the developer from the council? Okay, thank you for your presentation. And I'll go to the audience. Anyone in the audience like to speak in support of, in opposition to? Opposition to? Any comments from the council before I close the public hearing? All right, we will close the public hearing. Next item is item 8, introduction of Arena Bill 5385, approving the Epic Retail General Development Plan.
I'll introduce it, Your Honor.
First reading of Bill 5385, an ordinance approving the general development plan for Epic Retail located at 2850 Southwest 7 Highway, Blue Springs, Jackson County, Missouri.
Your Honor, I move to approve on the first reading and move to the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I'm just gonna add, for the developer, I often talk with staff about ways to improve the developments on 7 Highway. We get some flack sometimes for strip malls along 7 Highway, so I appreciate that you at least made an attempt to diversify the space and make it look like a comprehensive development, so appreciate that. Nice to have some different approaches and development on along 7 Highway. So. Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Motion carries. Second reading.
Second reading of Bill 5385, an ordinance approving the general development plan for Epic Retail located at 2850 Southwest 7 Highway, Blue Springs, Jackson County, Missouri.
Your Honor, move to approve the second reading and provide the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Rowan.
Aye.
Or, sorry, Councilmember Edmondson.
Aye.
Rowan.
Aye.
Kaler.
Aye.
Tholen.
Aye.
Rummel.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Mayor Lovesay.
Aye.
All right, item passes. Next item on the agenda is item 9, is a public hearing for Eclectic Tattoo CUP. Councilmember Brummel is going to have to recuse himself for this one.
Do I need to say anything or do I just get up?
Nope, we know that you're gonna do it, and so
Fantastic.
before I even open the public hearing, I'm gonna allow
Fantastic.
you to exit the room, so.
Mayor, may I say that last ordinance is given number 5483.
Okay. I will open the public hearing for item 9. Staff will read the exhibits for the record.
Mayor, the city has one exhibit to enter into the record. City Council Information Form dated February 24, 2026 with the following attachments. Staff report with attachments, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on January 24th and January 31, 2026. 185 feet notification map, names, addresses of property owners within 185 feet of site. Copy of letters sent to said property owners, Title 4 Land Use, Section Blue Springs Code of Ordinance, by reference, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference, and bill approving the conditional use permit for Eclectic Tattoo. This is all we have to enter for the record.
Staff, if you will raise your right hand, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, give us your name and information for the record. You don't have to give an address at City Hall, does he, every time? That's fine, continue.
My name is Asif Haq.
We know where City Hall is.
I'm a planner too with the City of Blue Springs, and 903 West Main Street, Blue Springs, Missouri. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you this evening is a request for a conditional use permit to allow for the operation of Eclectic Tattoo, a body art studio located at 1121 Southwest 28th Street. The subject property is zoned light industrial, which requires a conditional use permit approval for any body art service establishment. Okay. In conjunction with this request, the applicant is also seeking approval of alternative development standards to waive the minimum 500-foot separation requirement from residential uses. The light industrial district is intended primarily to accommodate industries that produce finished products from semi-finished materials and require little or no outside storage of materials. The proposed use is consistent with the intent of this zoning district and the surrounding commercial character of adjacent businesses. A recent Unified Development Code Text Amendment, UDCT -04-25-9553, Body Art Code Amendment, increased the allowable number of body art service establishments and would permit body art services when located in commercial or mixed-use buildings subject to a conditional use permit. Based on staff's review, the proposed use meets the intent of the updated code and will operate within an existing commercial tenant space with no exterior modifications. Staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit with alternative development standards with the two conditions listed in the staff report. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is also present.
Any questions for staff from the council? Councilmember Erickson.
Your Honor, do I have my numbers correct? If this passes, it would be 7 facilities in Blue Springs?
Yes, I believe so. But it's not adding an additional body art service. The applicant is relocating from one location to another.
Excuse me, one location in Blue Springs?
Yes.
As I understand from the listing on the state, that location is in Independence. Where's he relocating from?
My understanding was it was 703. My understanding was that was another location that was based in Blue Springs.
Well, it's not listed with the state, that's why I'm surprised. It doesn't make any difference if he's relocating, it just makes 7 of them, but the way it's listed with the licensing, it's maybe the applicant's here, I don't know. It's on the Owen School Road in Independence. Maybe that's not relevant.
Okay, yeah, the applicant is here and can clarify that as needed.
Any other questions from the council for staff? Okay, is the applicant present? Come on up. If you'll raise your right hand, do you swear the testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Daniel Cuban, 58 Dockside Drive, Lake Tapawingo, 64015.
Continue.
So I think there's a miscommunication. The purpose for me to have this tattoo studio here is because my main business is I'm an innovator and developer of tattoo products like tattoo machines. And I basically right now I pay to tattoo. My shop is at 705 Woods Chapel. So it is in there. My business was on my property at Owen School Road prior to my wife passing away, and I wanted to get out of that facility. It was very hard on me. My wife died at the house. And so I wanted to get into this other building, and then I wanted to consolidate expenses because I basically just paid a tattoo, and my tattooing is part of my R&D. I've been tattooing in the Blue Springs area for the last 18, 19 years. Just word of mouth is my longtime clients. But yes, I am listed. My business is licensed with the state and in Blue Springs, so I'm all up to date on my licenses. So I am like relocating from basically a more public location to keeping it in my machine shop area that is isolated from my machine shop area.
Any questions for the applicant? Councilmember Evanson.
Well, I appreciate you expanding your business, and I can't think of a place that's more remote in Blue Springs to move it to, but you have a following, I know, that comes to you because of the quality of product that you put out, so I don't think it's going to affect your business that much, but it's good to see you keep that business here and expand it here in a location that like I say, it's probably one of the most unused locations back in there. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant?
I'd just like to clarify, it took me by surprise because I was looking it up and I wanted to mention to the public, because some people don't like tattoo facilities. I'm proud that you're doing this, that's great. But the total will be 7, regardless of how we get to that point, because based upon this survey right now, there's only 6, although this one's not listed. And then I assume, based upon your what I understand from other council members, that you will be licensing this facility with the state as a tattoo establishment, correct?
Correct. I do have I've been paying my money to have a licensed tattoo shop with the state.
Well, we can talk about that later, but when you're in the community of Blue Springs, or when you move to another facility, according to the state statutes, you'll have to tell them you're moving to another facility and pass that whether it's you check off the boxes or however it works. It's just a transfer process. That's basically what I'm asking you to do.
My tattoo machine company is DK Rotary, and that is at this currently now at the 1128 28th Street address, and my tattoo company is a different business than my tattoo machine company, and I'm just wanting to have them in the same building. So it's not adding, my current tattoo shop is in Blue Springs right now, and I'm just relocating it to a more private, secluded area to almost take away from, well, it wouldn't be a private, exposed tattoo shop in Blue Springs at that point that I currently have.
So you do plan to comply with the state regulations? Maybe that's a better question.
Oh, of course.
Okay, that's good enough.
Good. Any other questions from the council for the applicant? Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to speak in support of? Anyone speak in opposition to? In opposition to? Any other comments from the council before I close the public hearing? We'll close the public hearing. Next item is introduction Arena Bill 5386, approving the eclectic tattoo conditional use permit.
I'll introduce it, Your Honor.
First reading of Bill 5386, an ordinance approving a conditional use permit with alternative development standards allowing body art and light industrial zoning district LI within 500 feet of residential use at 1121 Southwest 28th Street, Blue Springs, Jackson County, Missouri for eclectic tattoo.
Your Honor, I move we approve on the first reading and move to the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Motion carries. Second reading.
Second reading of Bill 5386, an ordinance approving a conditional use permit with alternative development standards allowing body art and light industrial zoning district LI within 500 feet of residential use at 1121 Southwest 28th Street, Blue Springs, Jackson County, Missouri for eclectic tattoo.
Your Honor, move to approve the second reading and give the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes, Your Honor, just to clear what my concern is, it's not really a concern, it's just the procedure or whatever you want to call it. At this time, as I looked up this afternoon, there are 6 licensed facilities in the city of Blue Springs. When he moves to his location and obtains his license, there will be 7 licensed facilities in Blue Springs, and that will put us way under the number that we changed it to last year. I just wanted the public to know that those numbers are what will be there.
Okay. Any further discussion on second reading? Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Rowan.
Aye.
Kaler.
Aye.
Tholen.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Edmondson.
Aye.
Mayor Levesey.
Aye.
Motion carries and given ordinance 5484.
Somebody please inform Councilmember Brummel, you can return.
Does he have to?
Welcome back, Councilmember Brummel. I was informed by your city attorney I should have let you make a comment on why you were recusing yourself, so you did not get away with it. Do you have anything you would like to add for the record on why you recused yourself from that item?
Conflict of interest?
Okay. That's a good statement that we will add to the record. Okay, next item on the agenda is what most of you are here in the room for, I assume. Introduction reading of item 12, prohibiting kratom and intoxicating hemp items. Before that, we have public comment allowable for ordinances on the agenda. So I have several speaker appearance forms. I'm going to start with those. If there are others in the audience that want to speak, make public comment, we can do that. The first one I have is for Matthew Cheek. He would like to speak on the intoxicating hemp and or on the introduction and reading a bill for the prohibiting kratom intoxicating hemp products. So Matthew, you've got 3 minutes. I'm going to have them put a clock on there. We didn't do that in the public hearings. They were keeping track, but they didn't have the clock up. So got 3 minutes to tell us what you're thinking.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name's Matthew Cheek. I'm a proud co-owner of Next Door Cannabis right here in Blue Springs. We share a common priority tonight, the health, safety, and prosperity of this community. For the last 13 years, I've been a financial advisor, helping folks navigate their future and help them succeed financially. My entire career has been about listening to people and taking care of them. That's exactly the environment that we've built at our store. Since opening the doors this past November, We've strived to look out for the community by maintaining a strict 21 and over policy. We don't cater to children. In fact, the vast majority of our patrons are hardworking adults over the age of 30. We've experienced 50% growth every month since we've opened. This is not an accident. This is our community speaking with its feet. We are providing a transparent, safe service that the people of the city clearly want and need. Right now, traditional marijuana is regulated and taxed to the point where it's become a luxury item. For many people, these products are simply out of reach, but our business caters to everyday adults who need an affordable way to manage their stress in their lives. These are your constituents. These are veterans, blue-collar workers, retired police officers, and seniors on fixed income who deserve safe, lab-tested alternatives without being priced out. Now, if you eliminate our business, the demand doesn't disappear, only the safe access disappears. History shows us what happens when you remove affordable options. People don't simply stop hurting. They're forced towards unregulated black markets, or even worse, towards cheaper, harder substances to cope. Now, hemp is distinctively differentiated from marijuana under federal law. Yet this council is considering a sweeping local ban before the state of Missouri has even finalized its stance. This won't just impact us, it affects other compliant businesses in the area, making a drastic, localized change premature, and it unfairly targets locally owned businesses that are doing things the right way. Now, history has taught us time and time again that we cannot regulate through prohibition. Prohibition creates blind spots. Regulation creates safety. I'm asking you tonight, don't ban hemp products, regulate them, enforce stricter age limits, work with responsible business owners like us, and wait for the state guidance before making a decision that will harm local enterprise and push consumers to spend their hard-earned money in another city and into the shadows. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Cheek. Next speaker appearance form I have is from Joseph Dorsey. Joseph, if you can come up. Got 3 minutes to tell us what you're thinking.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Joseph Dorsey. I'm a United States Army veteran and co-owner of Jelly Leaf alongside my wife, Tamara. I'm here tonight because what is happening in this room is bigger than one business. It is about who's really pulling the strings and why this council should not let them succeed. Before you vote on anything tonight, you need to know who is behind this ban. This effort is not being driven by concerned parents or public health experts. It is being driven, at least in part, by large out-of-state corporate interests who control Missouri licensed marijuana market. Oh, sorry, a little nerves here. Takes me back to basic training.
You're doing great.
Who control Missouri's licensed marijuana market and want to eliminate their local competition. The state marijuana licensing process was deeply flawed by design. Of 1,909 applicants, 849 appeals were filed. 44% of all denied applications. Missouri taxpayers incurred $12.5 million in litigation costs. Only 68 licenses were awarded through appeal. Poor process design directly caused that litigation. Missouri citizens paid for those lawsuits while a small group of corporations quietly secured protected market positions. These same operators were caught lab shopping, manipulating the reported potency of their products by using labs they own. They are fined for it. They then sold products under their licensed brand that were later recalled, hundreds of thousands of items, pulled from the shelves because of dishonest labeling and safety failures. The very products they are calling dangerous when sold by hemp businesses, they're selling the same products and were subsequently caught. Their operations ran without ongoing inspections, passing grades were issued without verified proof of compliance. Their metric tracking system failed to prevent product from being backdoored into the market. There are no regulations protecting sensitive customer data, and reports indicate customer data was collected without consent. If the Department of Revenue is not even using their compliance data for tax audits, then we're left with nothing but self-reported numbers and zero accountability. That is the system that now wants to eliminate its competition. And now, after all of that, these same operators are lobbying to require all hemp products to be sold exclusively in their licensed dispensaries. Think about what that means. It would hand a monopoly to the very companies that cheated the system, cost taxpayers millions in litigation, recalled their own products, violated customer privacy, and that's not even the beginning of it. That is not consumer protection. That is corporate takeover dressed up as public safety. I also want to name what's really happening here from a governance standpoint. A well-funded industry is using local government as a tool to eliminate a legal competitor. If it works in Blue Springs tonight, it will be used again, against the next small business in the industry that threatens the wrong people. This is not just about hemp, it is about whether outside corporate interests can walk into a city council meeting and shut down local entrepreneurs.
Mr. Dorsey, that's your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next speaker appearance form I have is from Tamara Clark. You can come up and tell us what you're thinking. You got 3 minutes, start when you're ready.
All right. So good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Tamara Clark, and I am the co-owner of Jelly Leaf. First, I want to ask that hemp and kratom be evaluated separately. They are chemically distinct, and we do not sell kratom. So we focus exclusively on compliant hemp products and responsible retail practices. So I want to start where we all agree, protecting children. We support 21 plus restrictions, ID enforcement, child-resistant packaging, behind-the-counter placement, and testing requirements. If there are gaps, we can close them. What is being proposed here is not regulation, it is elimination, not of alcohol, not of tobacco, and not of state-licensed marijuana corporations, only small local businesses that sell hemp products. Whether hemp is their entire inventory or just part of what they sell, we're a target. In Blue Springs, that means small business owners and local owners. My employees are Blue Springs residents who showed up for work this week not knowing if they would have a job next month. They are not a line item in a budget. They are not statistics. They are people with families, bills, and lives built in the community. They are your neighbors. Our customers are not who you think they are. They are veterans like my husband, grandparents getting off opioids to be present for their families, people climbing out of depression, managing anxiety, and people who found something that finally works. When we close, the people who depend on us do not just lose a store, they lose their most affordable, most trusted option. They lose the education, they lose the relationship, and they lose the choice. One of the arguments against businesses like mine is that nobody knows what's in our products, and I take that personally. Because every single customer who walks into our doors knows exactly what they purchase and exactly what's in it, and we have made that our standard since day one. They know because we show them. Every product we carry has a full lab report attached to it. Every single product has a label that you can scan and it pulls up the COA immediately. It is also in our store, on our website for anyone to access at any time, and we have never had anything to hide because we've never sold anything that we are not proud of. We don't ask for blind trust. We earn it every single day through complete verifiable transparency that you will not find at a corporate dispensary and certainly not from an online retailer with no local accountability. When options like ours are taken away, the black market does not disappear, it moves in, and this ban does not make Blue Springs safer, it actually makes it more vulnerable. Mr. Keeler, I respect your background in law enforcement and your commitment to protecting children, including your own grandchildren. Synthetic 7.0 is dangerous, we can all agree on that. My business does not sell it, we have never sold it, and we would support any effort to remove it from the shelves, but that's not what is in front of us or the council tonight. What is in front of you is a ban on federally legal hemp business that has nothing to do with 7.0. Kansas City drew the line clearly. Synthetic 7.0 is banned. Natural kratom remains legal for 21 and up and regulated at 21. This is the model. Target the harm, regulate the rest, and don't punish the businesses that have never caused the problem. So fear is not regulation, propaganda is not policy, and misinformation is not consumer protection.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Next speaker appearance form I have is from Todd Underwood. Todd here. Todd, come up. You got 3 minutes. Tell us what you're thinking.
3 minutes from when I get here or starting now?
3 minutes from when you start.
All right. Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Todd Underwood. I'm a local business owner. 4 years ago, we started a small kratom company, and over the past 4 years, it's actually grown into a worldwide organization. We have a facility in Jakarta, Indonesia. We have our original facility here in Blue Springs, and we bought the Examiner building in Independence and refurbished that into our corporate headquarters and bottling facility. In 1938, the FDA created the guidelines in order to bring a product like this to market. It was followed up in 1994 with the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act. Kratom is considered a new dietary ingredient. It is lawfully on the market. We have done everything the FDA has asked of us. We have registered our facilities with the Food and Drug Administration. We are completely 111, 117, and 190.6 compliant. I know you guys probably don't know what that means, but it is basically showing the FDA we are a good actor and we are responsible. I was doing some math earlier today, and we have put into commerce roughly 60 million servings of products that were made either here in Blue Springs or in Independence, Missouri. And we have had, out of 60 million servings, we've had one adverse reporting event. Kratom is not a problem. If it was, it would be blatantly obvious by now. I worked with Kansas City to create the regulatory framework that they just passed that put an age gate on Kratom, put a registration fee for businesses to sell Kratom products, and it also banned any synthetic opioids such as 7-hydroxy or any of the other molecules they could continue to create. I am adamantly opposing this bill in Blue Springs. I think it takes good products off the market. I know that I've met with a lot of you individually. Just had your son-in-law, nephew, the Speaker of the House, Patterson, in our facility. He signed in favor of the bill we presented. It has overwhelming support in Missouri right now to put an age gate and regulate Kratom and to ban synthetic 7-hydroxy. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Underwood.
Right, thank you.
Next speaker appearance form I have is from David Mullins. David here. David, come up. You got 3 minutes. Tell us what you're thinking.
I apologize, I don't have a prepared speech, so you get me raw. My name's Dave Mullins. I've been a resident here in Blue Springs for 28 years. Today I celebrate 26 years and 16 days of sobriety, so I am a person with an addictive personality. I'm here to tell you that I have had 2 back surgeries, blue-collar worker. I've broke my back. I take an anti-inflammatory and a muscle relaxer prescribed every single morning. I take an anti-inflammatory every evening. I take an anti-inflammatory every morning. My back was getting to where hurting, the medicines weren't, I was getting used to them. So my doctor wanted to put me on the muscle relaxer through the day also, just to help the pain. I couldn't do that. I tried it, got sleepy, things like that, heard of Kratom. So now, once a week, maybe twice a week at the most, when I get up in the morning, if I don't feel real good, my back is hurting or whatever, instead of taking something, I take 50 milligrams, that's all, 50 milligrams of Kratom in a shot, and in 30 minutes after I take my shower, my pain is gone, I have 0 side effects, and I don't have to take anything else with it. So I just want to say, if you ban this, it's not a good thing. Kratom has been a great thing for me personally. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mullins. Next speaker appearance form I have is from Sarah Greenwell, looks like. Sarah here. Sarah, you've got 3 minutes. Tell us what you think.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Kratom is not an abstract issue for my family. It directly affects us. I have a son with cerebral palsy, paraventricular leukomalacia. Over his lifetime, he has undergone major surgeries, including bilateral hip abduction, knee surgeries, ankle surgeries, and feet surgeries. His feet and toes have been frozen. My son spent 4 years in Blue Springs High School in a wheelchair. For years, he was prescribed multiple narcotic medications to manage his pain. For those medications were Oxycontins, oxycodones, several different muscle relaxers to manage his pain. While those medications were legal and doctor prescribed, they came with serious side effects and risks. Like many families, we worried about the long-term dependency and effects that those would have on him. 3 years ago, he began using Kratom as an alternative for pain management. Since then, he has been able to discontinue all of the narcotics, and he's left my home. He's moved out. He is not dependent on being with me any longer. I understand there are concerns about safety and misuse. I am not here to dismiss those concerns. I support reasonable regulation, age restriction, labeling requirements, and product safety standards. But an outright ban would remove an option that for my son and other families like him has provided stability and a better quality of life. Please consider regulation over banning. For some families, Kratom is not a recreational issue. It's a harm reduction tool that has replaced far more dangerous alternatives. Thank you.
you, Ms. Greenwell. The last speaker appearance form I have is from Nicole Caldwell. Is Nicole here? Nicole?
Hello, Mayor and Council. Appreciate you allowing me to speak. I'm actually speaking on behalf of my husband. My husband's name is Edward Caldwell. He served 13 years in the United States military in the Army. During that time, he also served doing special operations. And he asked me not to use this word. He used deployed 4 times instead of saying the word tour. He did 4 tours or 4 deployments in Iraq. Amongst other things that wouldn't be something that the normal population has seen or ever would want to witness themselves. In that, because of those things, he has what we call complex PTSD that is combat related. He has chronic depression and anxiety. Excuse me, I'm sorry. He has pursued treatment responsibly. He's gone to counseling. He's gone through psychiatric treatment with multiple medications. All of those things offered limited relief, but they also caused him to have many side effects, feeling numb, feeling nothing, not being able to be present with his family, his children, his wife, and having the legal access to the hemp. We do believe that if it was banned, would cause a serious issue within our family, as well as other veterans that seek the use of the hemp for stability. The hemp that he has been using through Jelly Leaf has been one, they have educated him thoroughly on which types and what they're called terpenes to use for his issues. He has chronic pain as well to go with all the anxiety and depression from the PTSD. And they've given him multiple options that have helped him way more than any of the more regulated corporate cannabis providers like KC Cannabis, for instance, have ever provided. The education that they provided him has been astronomical in creating a plan and a treatment that will help him, and it keeps him present with our family and with our children, and allows him to not so much go back to where PTSD can take you. So with that being said, it would benefit most, especially our family, if he could continue to use hemp versus the other products that are out there, because they do have regulated information that they do provide us. They do provide us with lots of education on how to.
Thank you, Ms. Caldwell. That's your time. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all the speaker appearance forms I have. Is there anyone else in the audience like to speak on the ordinance we have before us in the public comment section? Okay, come on up. I don't have a speaker appearance form from you, so if you'll give us your name and address at least, and then you've got 3 minutes to tell us what you're thinking.
My name is Kyle Short. You want my address too?
Yeah, that would be great.
It's 1207 Northwest Canterbury Road. I'm up here to speak on my behalf for Jelly Leaf. I have Tourette's, and I have tics that I'm not able to control. I went in there and they helped me out, show me what I need to use, and they're super nice people, amazing people, nice. I love going in there just to hang out, just to say hi, see them, But I feel that it helps me. I've had Tourette's since I was 13 years old. I was bullied in middle school for it. And now that I'm grown, now I know that I can use hemp to help me, because medicine doesn't work. I've tried all the medicines and it just makes my tics and Tourette's worse. So I think that we should keep it here in Blue Springs. It's a good place. Helps me.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else make a comment in the public comment section? Come up, give us your name and address.
Hi, my name is Mike Johnson. Now, I live in Independence, but I have a store in Blue Springs. Do you want my home address or the business address?
Just give us some information so we know who you are. So
Okay.
whatever works for you.
The store is at 204 Southwest 11th Street, right across the street here.
Okay.
And I primarily offer Kratom. And the only thing I can really share with you is the dozens and dozens of customers that I get that will come in the store in so much serious pain, back injuries, back surgery, knee surgery. Some people have come in the store just they could barely make it in. They buy some Kratom, a day or two later, they come back, they're walking in. They're just out of pain. The only thing I can say, there's been rumors that, somebody died from Kratom, which has been proven wrong. The worst thing that I've seen ever happen with anybody taking Kratom is if they overdo it, they'll throw it up. I mean, that's all that's going to happen. You have different strains of Kratom. I'm not a scientist or anything like that, but you have strains that really help with pain, which is the main one. It's called your Reds. And then you have Kratom that is tremendous for energy and stamina and focus, which is your white Kratom. And all I can say is it's a miracle. It really is. The hemp, I don't know much about, but Kratom by far is an amazing product that would really hurt if you banned that. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Okay, any other public comments in the section? Okay, then we move on to item 12, introduction to reading of Bill 5387, amending the code of ordinances related to prohibiting Kratom and intoxicating hemp products.
I'll introduce it, Your Honor.
First reading of Bill 5387, an ordinance amending Section 225.010 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Blue Springs, Missouri, and adding Section 225.195, regulating the sale, purchase, and possession of intoxicating hemp-derived cannabinoids and kratom-derived products.
Your Honor, I have a question of procedure.
Okay.
I would move, I have some thoughts about further discussion at this at a later date. What do I need to move for approval so we can discuss, or can I go ahead and?
If you're gonna make a motion on this item, yes, we'd have to have it seconded before we discuss anything related to it.
Okay, Your Honor, I move we approve on the first reading.
Let me ask that's right. Can we continue before we even open with the first motion?
I think we need the first motion.
Okay, that's correct. You can move on.
Okay, well, I did not move to go to the second. I moved we approve on the first reading.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Now we're at discussion on first reading.
Your Honor, if I may.
Councilmember Erickson.
To the public and the audience, compelling stories. I feel for all of those folks that have the need for these products, whether they're regulated, whether they're legal, or should be 21 and older. And I would like to say, and I'm speaking a little bit for Councilmember Kaler, because we moved last time that we bring this back to ban everything, because we wanted to get the process rolling. What I would like to do is have this come before us at a work session, which we have one scheduled for March the 30th, if I believe, and give us a little bit of time to separate this particular ordinance we have right now. If I wanted to ban everything, I still wouldn't like it, because I don't believe it's worded well enough. The Kratom isn't separated well, the 7-OH. It seems like, to me, like when I read it, the Kratom is listed as a precursor, if you will, the 7-OH, and it doesn't read well to me. And I would like to have more of a casual discussion amongst all of us. And at the outset, I wanted these things, I called it stuff at the time, and I apologize for that then, and I apologize for it again. But to me, there's Kratom, and there's a 7-OH, and the alkaloids thereof, and there's the hemp-related products. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of studies on these. We have a lot of anecdotal comments which have been provided tonight. So with that being said, I would move that we put this on the agenda for a work session, of course, and they're all open to the public, on March the 30th, and then bring back a more defined ordinance at the as soon as we possibly can after that.
Okay, I have a motion, so is that to continue this item?
Whatever our attorney says it is. I would like, yeah, I would like to continue it, but in the middle of that continuation, I would like to have it on an agenda as a work session item for open discussion, which is a little more casual than what we have here. Give us time to digest what everybody said and be a little more yes, no, maybe in the process.
John, hold on, Councilman Kaler, let me clarify the motion first. So, can we, by council vote, put an item on an agenda on a work session? I'm not sure that that's possible, so I want to make sure we have your motion correct before we second and discuss it. Okay, so as of now, city attorney says that's fine. So I'm gonna say your motion is to continue this item to a future council meeting. Well, I guess can we just continue to the work session, take
Work
action there?
session, but we don't want to kill it at the work session.
Yeah.
We want to refine it and come back with an ordinance that is good, that I could vote for or against in all good faith, based upon everything I've heard tonight and what I'm going to hear on March the 30th.
Let's let our city attorney go.
You know, perhaps maybe a better solution is if we're looking to more regulate this versus this, the ordinance in front of you is to totally prohibit it, then maybe what you should do is deny the ordinance. So this ordinance, and then direct staff to bring back an ordinance that is regulated.
I appreciate that, but I could not vote against this one unless I know for sure that it's coming back.
So, the difficulty, I think, is we can't continue a single item to 2 meetings, right? We can continue it to the March 30th work session, or we can continue it to another date certain. But to say we can continue it either to both, I think is the difficulty. So.
Can we table it then?
Tabling an item is really just for this existing meeting, so you would be continuing an item to a future council meeting. So you can table it for now, we just have to bring it up before the end of the meeting. So that's, I don't think achieves what you're trying to achieve. So if you want to continue us to the work session, then we would have to put it on another agenda based on the results of that work session.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's what
So let's go with that. Let's say, what I'm hearing, your motion, is that you want to continue this item to the March 30th work session agenda. Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
Okay. That's what I have as so moved. All right. Now, do I have a second on the motion to continue this item to the March 30th work session agenda?
After we second it, then we can discuss it.
Then we will discuss the motion, yes.
All right, second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to continue this item to the March 30th work session agenda. Is there discussion on that motion? Councilmember Edmondson.
I think the solution as far as what we're doing is a lot of information is being held in certain people's hands and not in all of us. I think what we need to do is deny this motion, and then vote on the original 2 things that we ask council or ask staff to do, or was to come forward with with an ordinance, and they did that. So if that's not what you asked them to do, let's turn that down to come back with a new ordinance. I'm heartily in favor of doing a work session so that we all have some comments on it. Right now, I attended some events with both Councilman Kaler and Erickson. One of them was in Sedalia, where the Police Chiefs Association in the state of Missouri was there, and the head of that organization made the comment that doing anything without having the support of regulation and support of prosecution if something is banned would be ridiculous, because that doesn't give the police an opportunity to do anything. I mean, so to me, there's a lot of things that need to be resolved other than we just don't like this, we want to ban it completely.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion?
Your Honor, I think Councilmember Edmondson is supporting my feeling that it needs to come to a work session because I think most of us, I might be wrong, would be pleased to ban and eliminate 7-hydroxy and the alkaloids thereof. I think some of us would like strict regulation, age regulation on the other two products. Some of us might want to ban them all, but if we turn this down, I just don't want it to be, or if we approve it. If we approve it, I don't like it. I don't like the wordings of it either. So I'm kind of, can't abstain. I don't think we have the time and I don't have the expertise to rewrite this right now. We asked staff to do it, but no offense to staff, it doesn't read well to me. I don't think it's specific enough, and I'd like to have it changed. And I'd be happy to sit down with staff and say, fix this, and fix this. But I got this, I think, Friday morning, and sadly, I had a few things to do, Saturday, Sunday, and today. And to think it over, I hadn't heard what these folks said. I'd like to digest that too.
Okay. Any further discussion on this motion? Councilmember Kaler.
You rolled over me a while ago.
Oh, I apologize.
That's all right.
I missed your wave.
I've been rolled over before. I totally agree. My question was, I think if we were wanting to bring something back, we have to turn this one down. Isn't that correct? Isn't that the proper procedure?
That is an approach, yes.
Correct?
Yes, that's what I'm suggesting.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So by doing that and then doing the motion that he's saying, having it on a work session, but two councilmen still can bring it back to doing it. So let's just go ahead, because I don't like it either. Let's throw it out and let's do his amendment to his motion, or however, if it's amendment, I don't know whatever his was, to have a work session to be able to talk about it more, because there's still a lot of information. There's still a lot of stuff going on in state. There's still a lot of going on in adjoining cities, and I just think this is we need to be really diligent of how we do and approach this.
So I guess I'm going to make comments before I go more, because I guess that's my concern, and I'm hearing both of you say, this is now the second council meeting we've discussed this, and we've been talking about it for at least, I think November was the first discussion. So we've been discussing it for 4 months, and we've had 2 council meetings, and I don't know that the more information is going to change where this is headed. So I guess my concern with the work session is we're going to continue to beat the dead horse without any, I don't know what we're trying to achieve by doing this. And that's my concern, is what is the end goal of this, and what will a work session produce that you feel like we don't have currently, would be my question. So I guess with that, then I'll go on. Is there any council members?
I will. There's somebody down here.
No, go ahead.
Well, number one, we can get it right. Number two, we have behind us the testimony of the folks today. If we pass or don't pass this, and then it dies at the horse, or whatever that terminology was, and we don't bring it back, then it's wrong. We haven't separated Kratom from 7-OH, in my opinion, adequately, and we're not addressing it right. This ordinance is a failure, but it's better than not doing anything. That's why I would like to have us discuss it a little bit more. Go home and think about it. I see perplexed faces on the council. I'm confused about it, and it's, there have been a lot of other things that we've come back and got right, I think, through a lot of consternation for the people on this council. It just seems pretty harmless to not do it and try to get it done the right way.
Okay. I saw Councilmember Brummel first, so you're up first.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to get this straight. So what legal's saying is that we should just vote it down tonight and then bring it back something else, correct?
I think that's the cleanest thing, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, correct.
So instead of debating all this right now, do you want to withdraw your motion for now and we go from there since legal's suggesting that we?
I don't know why I would do that. I want it on the next work session, and I want to start over. I don't want to hear, well, we've already done it, we've already talked about it, we're beating a dead horse. I thought this was a way to start fresh and have us in a group with all of this together, and I'm just not prepared to vote on something. I don't want to not do some of the things that are in this, but I don't want to do the others. So it's kind of a catch-22. How do I do it and how do I not?
I would also prefer that we have some direction from the council whether or not to put this on a work session agenda. I'm not inclined to put it on a work session agenda, and so that would change the process. So if you all as a body want to talk about this on a work session, I think some direction from the council with a vote would be helpful. Any other discussion on the Councilmember Thole?
Yeah, I think that until we get, because we did declaration last council, we're direct, we need some guidance from state and all that. I think it's not off the table of discussion. I just think that there needs to be more at state level before we have that. And I think our work session at the end of the month is just too soon. It does just take two people to bring it back to us. So at any point it can be brought back to us. I just don't think right now a work session is going to do anything.
Okay, any other Councilmember Edmondson?
Just real quick, sometimes I think from the public's viewpoint, maybe this is a proposed ordinance. It is not an existing ordinance on our books. It is a proposed ordinance, which means that if it gets down, it doesn't mean you can't propose something different. And I think that's what we're looking at. I think that's what you're asking for, Councilman Erickson, is the ability to come back with something different. Right now, we're faced with what was proposed and what's before us. So to me, we should just go ahead and vote and get that out of the way and then allow you to come back and propose something different that's more in line with what you're trying to talk about now.
Okay, any other Councilmember Kaler?
So Councilman Edmondson, then you're against the work session.
The work session part of it is the mayor's part of it.
I thought two councilmen could bring up an item for a work session. Where am I missing?
Two council members can have their own meeting or put an item on a council agenda.
Okay.
For discussion.
Two council members can request a work session as well with an agenda item. Is that not correct?
I believe that is correct as well, yes.
Okay, and I think that's at least that's what I'm asking. I'm trying to clean it up so we can bring it over to a work session based upon what we're hearing today, and then change this ordinance then so we have some time to do it. I don't like the idea of passing this off and then coming back with another ordinance. We've got a framework, we just need to get it right. Getting it right seems like I'll use the word again, like the right thing to do.
Okay, any other discussion on the motion to continue this to the work session agenda? Okay, let's go ahead and roll call this one. This is just on the motion to continue this item to the March 30th work session agenda.
Councilmember Kaler.
Aye.
Tholen.
No.
Brummel.
No.
Erickson.
Yes.
Edmondson.
No.
Rowan.
No.
Mayor Lovesay.
No. Okay, so now we're on the original bill 5387 on first reading still. So is there discussion on first reading of bill 5387?
Just a procedural, I did not move to go to the second reading. I want that very clear.
Yeah, we're on first reading.
Yeah, no, but I did not make the motion to go to the second. Somebody else will have to do that.
Yeah, okay. So any discussion on first reading of bill 5387? Okay, let's go ahead and roll call this one too.
Councilmember Tholen.
No.
Brummel.
No.
Erickson.
Yes.
Edmondson.
No.
Rowan,
No.
Kaler.
I hate to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but because we can't discuss any of the other stuff, I'll go ahead and vote no.
Mayor Lovesay.
No. So that item
Fails on first reading.
fails on first reading. Okay, so then we're at the next,
Wait. We're not going to, we decided to not do this on the first reading. Okay.
yeah, it failed on first
That's-
reading.
That's
yeah.
good. I just want to clarify it.
So the next item on the agenda is item 13 is a presentation on the audit. And I believe we have a guest to give us that presentation.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right, evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and go through the results of the 2025 audit. I think you've all been provided with copies of the final deliverables, and then we have a PowerPoint here as well just to go through a few items. So before I go through the slides, as I noted, you've been provided with a copy of the final annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended 2025, as well as the city's compliance report and then the auditor communications to those charged with governance. So these slides will touch upon the topics, the key topics in those documents. So auditing standards require us to communicate back to those charged with governance on certain relevant topics as it relates to the audit. This slide goes through a summary of what you will see in the content of that deliverable. So the first item, we issued what's referred to as an unmodified or clean opinion as it relates to the financials that they're presented in accordance with GAAP. The next item is to highlight if there's any new standards or really any significant changes on something you might see different in the report compared to prior year. There was a new standard that just changed how the liability for compensated absences is reflected in the financials. As a reminder, compensated absences, it relates to the liability that the city has for any really time off for employees, whether that's vacation, sick, PTO, etc., and just how that liability is determined. So there's disclosures in the financials this year that just clarify really what changed on that determination. Accounting estimates and management judgments, this just summarizes there are certain areas in the financials that have a component of subjectivity. We take a look at those as part of the audit and make sure the process used by management appears reasonable in accordance with their policies, as well as guidance around those types of estimates. Audit adjustments and uncorrected material misstatements. So this is just a summary of we received the original trial balance, we proceed with our testing, and if there's any adjustments identified in the course of our audit work. So really just two items came up in the course of testing, both related to capital assets. So again, an audit adjustment means that adjustment was reflected in the final product before the audit was completed. Uncorrected and material misstatements are as they sound. So an error may have been identified in testing, but it was clearly immaterial to the financials. So rather than running that through the financials, those are summarized for your information in that letter. The next couple items, this is really just to remind you that the standards do require, if we encounter any difficulties in performing the audit, any disagreements with management, problems gathering information, etc., we are required to communicate that back to you. Nothing of that nature. Just to pause for a second, the audit is a very time-intensive process. On top of everyone's day-to-day responsibilities, we always get excellent cooperation. We work primarily with the finance department, but do engage with other departments in our testing, and everyone's very cooperative and timely in going through our questions and requests for information. Future accounting pronouncements, you'll see here, this is just upcoming standards that may have an impact on the financials. So those are disclosed in the financial statements as well. And then lastly, this is just to note the GFOA Certificate of Achievement. I believe the city has received this for over 40 years. So again, this is not a requirement of municipalities. There's several extra steps that are required to qualify for this as far as additional information, transparency in the report, etc. So the 2024 report qualified for that certificate. You'll see it included in this year's report. And then I'm sure management's intent is to submit the 2025 report for review as well. The compliance report. So as a reminder, all organizations that expend, the threshold actually increased to $1 million this year, but all organizations that receive and expend more than $1 million in federal grant revenue are required to have their auditors perform a single audit or a compliance audit done in accordance with the Uniform Grant Guidance. So the single audit goes through and summarizes in that compliance report. First of all, there's a schedule of federal expenditures, so it details out what federal expenditures the city expended this year. I think in the current year, the amount was just around 3.5 million of total federal expenditures. We tested the ARPA funds again this year. For perspective, that's about 71%. I think that's 2.5 of the 3.5 million total that was subject to testing, where we go through and take a look at our controls in place to ensure those dollars are spent in accordance with the guidelines, as well as on a sample basis, making sure the dollars were allowable as intended. So in this document, you'll see here the results. We issued a modified or clean opinion on the major programs. And then this document also summarizes, so as a reminder, the auditor does not give an opinion on internal controls. That's not the purpose of a financial statement audit. However, the standards require that if we become aware of anything that we assess as a material weakness or significant deficiency, that is required to be communicated to you. So that consideration is done as it relates to both the financial statement audit as well as the federal grant audit. So this year, no deficiencies, again, at that material weakness or significant deficiency level, were noted as it related to either the financial statement or compliance audit. And then there were also no instances of non-compliance noted on either of those areas as well. Here are just a few high-level summaries of items in the financial statements. So this just describes out revenue by type in the general fund. Very consistent year over year, so I know it's a little small, but there on the bottom right, you can just see total revenue increased about $200,000 this year, so pretty flat year over year. And even the categories, as you look at the primary categories in the general fund, were pretty consistent in 2025 compared to 2024. This summarizes expenditures, by the general fund. So there on the bottom right, you can see total amount. Expenditures in the general fund increased almost $800,000 or 2.4%. Here you can see some of the key categories. Public safety, the larger area there, increased almost $1 million. This is going to mainly relate to just personnel costs supporting that function. And then most of the others, you can kind of see fluctuations. Some of these areas are project driven. For example, highways and streets may just relate to planned projects during the year compared to prior years. Fund balance by category. So this is specific to the general fund. So as a reminder, fund balance is the term really for equity in the general fund. There's 5 required categories that it's presented in. Non-spendable, that's going to represent prepaids, or if the general fund has made advances, long-term advances to other funds. So for the city, that would be the advance to the golf fund. So between those two categories, that's about $2.8 million that's falls into the category of non-spendable. The larger category is the committed, so the yellow bar there. So by definition, committed are those amounts that have been earmarked by council. Most of that, about $8.3 million, is a combination of the budget stabilization and the emergency reserve that was established in previous years. So that's what that amount represents. And then the green category there at the bottom, unassigned, it's about $2.8 million at the end of the year. So that is the amount not restricted by third parties, not yet earmarked by council or department heads. And so that amount represents what's available for discretionary spending in future years going forward through the budget, etc. Legal debt margin. This is just a summary to give perspective. So it's a formula. The assessed value, property value, is at about $1.4 billion. When you take a look, the debt limit is based on 20% of that assessed value. So at the end of the year, it's about $285 million. And then just to compare, the city at the end of the year had just over $40 million in bonded debt outstanding. So you can see there the buffer that is available as far as the debt limit allowed per that calculation compared to what the city has outstanding. Enterprise funds, so those that are business type in nature, so this will include water, sewer, golf, and then the field house, which includes the aquatic center. So here you can see operating results year over year. Operating revenue went up about 1.7 million or 6% this year. Most of that was seen in, I think, rate increases through the sewer fund, and then also the full opening of the aquatic center. So the field house fund saw increased operating revenue in 2025 with that project completion. Operating expenses went up about 4 million or 15%. A large portion of that is actually, so with the aquatic center fully completing, depreciation expense has now gone up quite a bit in that fund as those assets immediately start to depreciate upon usage starting. So you'll see there, that's why we break out some of those categories. Total operating income is a positive, especially when you back out depreciation, simply because that's a non-cash expenditure in those funds. And then the last category, these are the funds that do present a cash flow statement as well. So cash flow from operations can be an indicator that you can monitor as far as, are the rates at a level that are generating cash sufficient to cover operating costs each year. As far as the aquifer itself, obviously I do not go into that in great detail, but just at a high level, so within those financial statements, I usually point you to management's discussion and analysis. That is a 10 to 20 page recap at the start of the report. It goes through and highlights. Management can summarize in a narrative format key areas that they want to highlight as it relates to the 2025 financials, more specifically compared to prior year, budgeted results, etc. So in the absence of being able to read the full report front to back, that can be a condensed area that you can look to catch some of the highlights as far as the current year results. There's extensive footnotes around certain areas in the financial statements that you can find in there: cash, investments, debt, the city's pension plan that it participates in. And then in the back is this statistical section. So that section is unaudited, but that can have a different lens as far as most of those schedules are a 10-year history on things as the financial results, revenue capacities, debt capacities, general demographic information around the city. So again, that provides just a different lens on an area you can see. While the city's report is single year, that area lets you look at a 10-year history on a few key measures there. So I'll go ahead and pause. Happy to go through any questions as it relates to the audit or the documents.
Any questions about the audit? I just want to know who would not want to read the full report.
I know, it pains me, trust me, it pains me, but I give people that little out with the MD&A reference, so.
Well, I'll just make a comment while the council is thinking. I appreciate you mentioning the certificate of excellence at the outset, because we're very proud of the consecutive nature that our finance team continues to receive that award. I was at another city's State of the City last week. I won't mention the city, but they were talking about how they had got it like 12 times in 9 years consecutive, and those are rookie numbers compared to what Blue Springs does. So appreciate Karen and her staff doing a great job. Also, just in the spirit of the ghost of Councilmember Fowler, I want to mention our debt, the debt margin that you pointed out. We're always significantly lower in the amount of debt the city of Blue Springs has, and that's always been something to be proud of. So we operate fiscally. I would also just say to those that often will request in the public that somebody needs to audit X, this is the audit. It's a comprehensive annual audit done independently, so the city's books are audited every year, and not just our financials, as you pointed out, but all of these special taxing districts as well receive a full comprehensive audit. So all of that is public information, always available to read the full report anytime you want to. So any other comments from the council? Okay, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
With that, we'll go to visitors. I don't have any speaker appearance forms anymore. So we'll go to council member comments. Are there anything been happening the council wants to talk about recently? Councilmember Brummel.
I just wanted to point out that it's the last weekend of basketball for Parks and Rec, and I want to thank our Parks and Rec department, all the referees, all the volunteers. It's been a fun year, even though your daughter has beat my daughter's team twice now. But no,
I wasn't going to mention that.
It was fun to watch them play the first game and then play again on Saturday and see the difference in what the progress has been made. So just want to point out what a great program we have and what a great Parks and Rec department we do have.
Not only have our daughters played each other twice, but Councilmember Erickson's granddaughter played against my daughter's team too. So a lot of exciting things going on in the community as well.
I'm guessing we have that one this weekend. So
is that who you play this weekend?
I'm guessing that's the only team we haven't played. So
all right, the grudge matches are starting. So.
Sadly, we'll be in California, but I will have somebody tripod and videotape you cheering for my granddaughter.
There you go. they all been playing great, so good, and great for the Parks Department, another great year, so. Other council member comments this evening? Well, I will mention on Friday, I had the privilege to give proclamations to 3 retiring employees, all of them more than 20 years of service to the city. First, I have Pat Kapranica, was with engineering. He had 41 years since 1984, worked for the city of Blue Springs, and so it was exciting to send him off. Also, Ray Adamson with Parks, worked here more than 21 years, 21 plus years. He was a character, man, and had all sorts of fancy decorations at the Parks Department. Was a good time. And then Beth Overstreet in finance, 29 years of service to the city. So a lot of exciting longevity. I don't know. I think Brian asked if we had ever had that many people retiring all at once with so much long tenure of service, but it's pretty amazing the amount of work and professionalism we've had in the city of Blue Springs, and will continue. I guess just to echo Councilmember Brummel's comments on any specific items, but a lot of, as spring is starting up, a lot of parks programs that are really getting active, and so be sure to check in on those, including a pickleball tournament on March 7th. So council wants to put a team together, I'm game for that too. Well, with that, I don't have any other items for the council, so I will accept the motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? We are adjourned.